God, this is so weird. Every time I do a live, I get so scared because I'm like, if I have an awkward pause or I like say something wrong, like it's all here, it scares me. Anyway, YouTuber issues. I'm going to let some of you guys come in, but basically today we're going to be doing a little Chamberlain Coffee Q&A. We had you guys send in your questions. I have them all written up on my computer. My computer is behind me. So if you're like, why are you looking over there? I'm not looking at a bird out the window. I am looking at the questions. So thank you. We have some kitties here today. Look, it's Frankie. Okay, she attached her nails to the carpet. So I can't really pick her up right now. But she is here. And we have Declan over there. So the cats are all here. That's the most important part, right? And I have this. It's a like really big cold brew day. This is my second one. And I already have to pee. So let's get into this. Let's get into the questions. Number 1, how many hours do you spend on TikTok? This is not really coffee related, but this was a very popular question. I should probably check my screen time to know the accurate answer to this, but probably like 1 to 5 hours a day, which is like super bad. And I'm trying to cut down because I think it's bad for my brain. But I spend a lot of time on TikTok. I do like, I justify it by saying like, oh, this is good for me because I'm like learning about pop culture and stuff like that. But really it's just a guilty pleasure. But actually Chamberlain Coffee has a TikTok account where we repost your guys's amazing Chamberlain Coffee TikToks. And we repost them on our page because we love you guys and you guys make really good content. So, you can go follow Chamberlain Coffee on TikTok at Chamberlain Coffee. Keep making videos and tagging us. And if you, are cool with reposting them, we love to do that. Okay. First real coffee question. What made you want to create a decaf blend? It was a combination of things. I'm not a huge decaf drinker because I'm somebody that has a very high caffeine tolerance. But when you are running a company, you kind of have to think about everybody, right? Not just yourself. Although I do make products that like I would enjoy, you also have to kind of think like, okay, what does everybody want? And some people, can only have 1 caffeinated coffee a day. Some people can't have caffeine at all. And we saw a lot of that in our reviews. And we love reading reviews. So always please leave reviews as much as you possibly can and want to because it really helps us a lot. But a lot of people were like, Emma, we need a decaf. Like, I can't drink coffee after 1 p.m. Like, help. You know what I mean? Also, my mom was like, Emma, I can't drink caffeine anymore. Can you please make a decaf? And when your mom comes to you and says that, you're like, okay, now I have to. No, but it was a combination of things. But also sometimes I like to have a coffee like late at night as like a relaxing thing. And having decaf around is great because drinking caffeine right before bed is really not good for you. So that's that. And I really love the decaf blend. Like even though it's decaf, it tastes so good. It's almost like it's normal. It could be like placebo, like you think you're getting energy, but you're not. I wonder, interesting thing to think about. What if you gave somebody decaf coffee and you told them it was caffeinated and they drank it? Would they convince themselves that they're caffeinated? Somebody talk about that. We need to get a scientist to talk about that. Anyway, somebody said, will decaf be available in steeped bags and to international customers? Yes, stay tuned. That is definitely in the works for sure. Somebody said, what is your favorite blend right now? Ooh, okay, this is really hard. I had the Careless Cat blend in my espresso machine for like 2 weeks and it was great. But right now I'm kind of in an early bird phase. I just put early bird in my machine and I just love it. I really love light roasts and I didn't used to like light roasts. But the early bird blend was like my intro to light roasts that I like really liked. Cause I feel like light roasts can sometimes be they can be kind of acidic sometimes, but I love our light roast and that's the early bird and that's my favorite right now. I've also been making early bird cold brew, which I'm actually drinking a cold brew right now. So anyway, moving on. Somebody said, what's the most coffee you've ever had in a day? I mean, we've probably gotten up to 5 or 6 in a day before, which I don't know if I'm proud of that, but I used to pull all-nighters when I first started my YouTube channel, and I edited my own videos, which thank God I don't anymore. But I would edit for like 35 hours a week, right? And so you can imagine a lot of that went into the nighttime hours, and so I'd be drinking coffee throughout the day, all day, and then all night to get my videos done, and yet I was still uploading like once every 2 weeks because editing was just destroying my life. But I probably had up to 5 or 6, and I used to be a lot more of a mess. So I'm glad that those days are over. I usually stick to about 2 now. And that's where I feel like good. But like big though, like too big. Like this is not small. Like that's the size of my head. 2 big coffees a day. Somebody said, have you ever gone a day without coffee? Not in a really long time. I mean, God, I can't remember the last time I went without it. Just because now, like, my body kind of needs caffeine. You know, you kind of get in that routine where you start to rely on it, which is not great, but I mean, also, whatever. It could be worse, right? So, God, my screen keeps turning black. I don't know how to stop that. Like, it keeps turning off. Anybody know how to fix that? Let me know. What was the question? I don't remember the last time I went without coffee. Somebody said, what is something about starting your own company that you wish you knew sooner? There's a lot, actually. Number one, I didn't realize, like, financially how it works. Like, you know, it's not as easy as you think to, like, come out with a new product. Like, there's a lot of things that need to be planned financially and stuff like that. That is, like, a crazy concept to me. That's something I've been learning throughout this process because, again, like, you know, I'm 19. I know what I like in a good coffee. I know what, you know, aesthetic I like for a brand. I know what makes a brand feel inviting to me. But when it comes to, you know, the more technical side of things, I'm still learning about all of that. And so, you know, understanding like why sometimes it's not easy to just ship internationally, like why that might not make sense financially for a smaller brand. I didn't understand that stuff. And so it can be frustrating because it's like, you know, I wish we could just have, it could be easy, right? But in the beginning of a company, sometimes you can't financially have free shipping, or you can't financially have, you know, 100 different products on the site. Like you have to kind of take it slow, and that's something I didn't really realize. And it's also like nurturing a baby too. Like you can't send your baby to 8th grade when they're born because you're like, oh, I just want them to be grown up. You have to like work your way up to things. And I'm somebody that likes to just wake up one day and everything be set up for me. A good example is like I've been playing drums recently, and like, I want to just wake up tomorrow and be really good at playing drums, and I just want to be able to be in a band tomorrow. Not that I'd ever be in a band, but you get what I'm saying? Like, I wish that I could just get to that level automatically, but you can't. You have to build things up. And so there's a lot more patience in making a company than I would ever have thought. And yeah, but it's also really fun, and I've loved every step of the way, even the struggles, even the stressful parts, all of it. And I have a great team. The Chamberlain Coffee team is amazing, and they like are an extension of my brain, and you know, I'm so grateful for them as well because they've been really helpful and they teach me things every day. Somebody said, what was your inspiration for the blend names? I mean, well, it kind of started with we like the idea of having a different animal for every blend. And that's kind of how it started. But then I think a lot of it stemmed from like the level of caffeine. Like for example, our new decaf blend is Sleepy Sloth because sleepy decaf, that fits. And then for example, the Early Bird, like that's our highest level of caffeine blend because it's light roast. And like that's Early Bird because, you know, you want to have pack in the most caffeine you can in the morning. And then for the, more like medium level caffeine blends, we just kind of had fun with that. Like for the dark roast, we like the Night Owl because it's like, kind of like classy and like whatever. And then with Social Dog and Careless Cat, we just like had fun with like that just like made sense in our brains. It's one of those things where it was like not necessarily like it just clicked in our brains and we were like, that's what it's going to be. Sometimes that's how it works when you're, creating stuff. It's like it will just make sense in your brain and you're like, this coffee blend for some reason gives me like a nonchalant Careless Cat vibe. And then you're like, that works. So sometimes there isn't a, super intricate explanation. What's your favorite blend? If you could only drink one, which would it be? Wait, I think I already answered that. Sorry, guys. What is your, somebody said, what's your favorite way to make hot coffee? So I am not the biggest hot coffee drinker, which is kind of funny because it's like, okay, Emma, really? Come on. But I do drink it occasionally. And I love the steeped bags because it's just easy. And I like I like the way that it tastes almost better sometimes than like not cold brew. Sorry, French press. I just like the way that it steeps for some reason. And I just really like the flavor. But I just like putting a splash of almond milk and a splash of little nut pod creamer in it, and that's my favorite. But we also have the cutest Chamberlain coffee mugs, and that makes me want to drink hot coffee more. Sometimes I'll even just drink cold coffee out of them because I think that they're cute, and sometimes because they're like the only clean cup I have left. It happens. Somebody said, do you like to coarsely ground or finely ground your espresso beans? So when I'm making espresso, this is something I didn't know up until recently. It's like the fineness of your grounds affect how your espresso tastes if you're using an espresso machine. I almost said espresso, and that's like my big no-no. I'm like, Emma, you can't say espresso. Guys, PSA, it's pronounced espresso. I didn't know that when I was younger. My dad corrected me, and I was mortified. But I like my espresso grounds finely ground. I just like the way that it tastes better. I feel like it works better. I have a coffee grinder that grinds them up really finely, and that's what I use. Somebody said, how do you use your French press? What is the ratio and grind that you use? Actually, funny story, I'm still like figuring out the French press. I used to use a French press when I was younger. But now that I'm older, I'm trying to figure out like what ratio I like the best with the French press, how long I like to, let it sit, all that. Like I'm still figuring out my new and improved formula. So if you guys have any like recommendations on how you, like your favorite French press method, because there's so many different ways, please let me know. Because I'm still kind of figuring it out. Somebody said, what's your most used emoji? I would say the like one that's like, I want to punch myself in the face for just imitating that. But that's the one I use the most because it's my favorite manipulation tactic, right? It's like you send a little like emoji. Yeah, okay, wait, I saw somebody just use it. You use that emoji and then you can basically do, it's great. It's like everybody loves you. They think that you're such a little kind soul when you use that emoji. Yeah, everybody's using it. See? It's the best emoji. It's powerful. I think Tatum's pillowcase might be in here too. Okay, next. Somebody said, do you use different blends for hot coffee and cold brew? If so, what blend do you think? I really love, all of them. I use all of them. There's kind of, obviously, no, I use all of them. I don't really, that's kind of was my goal with creating these Chamberlain coffee blends, right? It was like, I don't want a blend to just taste good as espresso. I don't want a blend to just taste good with a steeped bag or just as cold brew. Like I want it to be well-rounded so that you can use it in a steep bag and it tastes just as good as if you use it in a latte or if you want to use French press, it'll taste just as good, whatever. So that was kind of my goal. And so I made sure that the blends were very versatile so that you could use them in any way that you like making your coffee. So that's why I'm not picky, I guess. Somebody said, what was your favorite part of developing all the different coffee flavors? I know I've answered a lot of these questions before, but I know we have a lot of new people here, so I'm trying to, touch on the old stuff too. I just loved the process of I know the first blend that we ever created, which is the family blend, that was pre-COVID, pre-everything. And so I was able to go in and taste all the different origins and all the different taste test them and decide which ones I wanted to mix together to make the perfect blend. And that's how I created the family blend. Since then, it's been a little bit more difficult because we're in COVID. And so it's just a lot of, telling the team, this is what I want. This is the flavor profile I want. And then them kind of creating something and then sending it to me and then me being like, hey, switch that up, send it back. Then we keep going back and forth until we get the perfect blend. And I like that process because it's exciting. It's like when I taste it and then I'm like, okay, this is good, but it needs this, this, and this. I feel like it needs to be a little bit less acidic and I want a little bit more of a chocolatey flavor or something like that. I send those notes, and then when I get the coffee back, it just is so exciting to see if my dreams came to life or if it needs a little bit more work, and it's exciting to try it again, Anyway, somebody said, which coffee do you recommend for when you need to pull an all-nighter? Definitely the Night Owl blend. My reasoning for this is that not only is the dark roast kind of fitting for the midnight vibe, when you're up late, but also because it's not super crazy high caffeine content. It's not like the early bird where you're dealing with max caffeine here. It's a little bit less, and so I think that's better for nighttime all-nighters because, well, I guess you can't pull an all-nighter at any other time of the day. So it's better for that because it's the caffeine's a little bit, so that at least if you want to go to bed at 7 a.m, you can. Whereas I feel like if I drink something with too much caffeine during an all-nighter, then I don't go to sleep for the next 24 hours. I've done that. I can't believe I used to pull all-nighters all the time, guys. It was what was I doing? You know what I mean? It was so unhealthy. But sometimes you got to do it. And some people thrive off of all-nighters. I used to thrive off of them. Now I go to bed. Guys, I go to bed at literally 10:30 now. 10:30 p.m. And for people who have been hanging out with me since day one, watching my videos, whatever, you guys know I used to stay up until 5 a.m. every day. So glad that those days are over. Last question that I have written down is, would you ever open a Chamberlain Coffee cafe? Yes, that is a dream for me. It's just it's hard. It's actually so confusing though, because number one, it's where do I do it? Number two, it's it's scary. There's a lot of commitment in opening a coffee shop somewhere. You have to figure out, I don't know, I'm very intimidated by the idea of it, but I also love the idea of it. And it's a huge dream for me. So definitely gonna think about that. Anyway, I'm seeing some really good questions in here. So I think I'm gonna answer a few more that you guys are asking in real time. Somebody said, what do you think about matcha? I actually really like matcha. I had a huge matcha phase a little while back just because I found this coffee shop that had really good matcha and I was like, yeah, I'll try it. But it definitely isn't coffee, it'll never replace coffee for me, but it's still really good. I did find that I got a little sick of it, but I think it was just because I was getting the literal exact same drink every day, and sometimes you need to switch it up. But matcha's great. And I also have been getting into herbal tea too, herbal tea with lemon before bed. That's what has been making me not want to drink coffee at night, is drinking warm herbal tea. It's really good. I'm open-minded with drinks. But I love drinks. Like, I love all different types of drinks. Like, I love fun sparkling waters and fun teas and coffee. Like, that's just always been something that brings me a lot of joy. Coffee obviously being the most, my most favorite. Somebody said, Chamberlain Coffee merch, please. Yes, we're working on that. Absolutely. Somebody said, would you ever expand to tea or creamer? Listen, all these things, like, it's all about just creating something that, you know, I'm proud of, but I don't see a limit to it. Like, if for some reason, like, I was like, you know what, I really want Chamberlain Coffee to sell tea now, I would totally do it. It's just a matter of, you know, that making sense. And it being inspiring to me, and me finding something that, like, finding the perfect tea blend that, like, fits with the rest of, you know, the brand, and that I really love and that I would be proud to sell. But yeah. Anyway, I'm done. I have to go pee really bad because I drank one whole one of these before I started. Oh my God, I just thought my nail broke. I almost freaked out. I was like, if my nail broke, I will freak out. Also, somebody said fit check. I'm wearing sweatpants on the bottom half, so don't tell anyone. Oh, I also saw one more question. Now I want to answer it. Will Chamberlain Coffee ever be in stores? That is absolutely another dream of mine. And again, it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know. I can't read the future. I have no idea when or if that will ever happen. But everything's always, like, up in the air. Like, it's not like we have a set plan for the next 5 years of what everything's going to look like. With a new business, you kind of roll with the punches, right? And you see what comes your way. Anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for supporting the brand. I really appreciate your guys' continued support from day one. From the time that the brand was a little baby infant, you guys have been there, and I really appreciate that. And if you're new and you just started drinking Chamberlain Coffee and you love it, I really appreciate you giving us a try, and I hope that you love it, and I hope it makes you feel good, and I hope you look forward to it, because that's the whole point of coffee. And make sure to leave us a review. If you check your email and you leave us a review, I think there might be something a little secret and fun. Yeah, there might be a little email in there for you to leave us a review. And I appreciate that, because that really helps me out. What else? What else have I not said? Oh, make sure to sign up for our newsletter to stay tuned for lots of new stuff to come, because, you know, it's hard to, for me to come on here and... Oh my God, my cat just knocked over my mini trash can. Anyway, sign up for the newsletter to stay up to date on everything. I love you guys. Thank you for watching. I think that is all that I have to say. Oh, you guys want a forehead kiss. I love you guys so much. That was your forehead kiss. And I'll see you around. Thank you for watching.